Hi guys, welcome to another little podcast that we're putting forward for you. Tonight, I'm just going to have a little chat with my old mate Pete Hannon, and we're going to talk about our experiences of following Blues. So both Pete and I have followed them for a long time, so I'm sure we're going to have an interesting little chat for the next hour or so. And firstly, Pete, hiya mate, how you doing?
Uh, you're right, mate.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
What
thanks.
you doing? Turning the volume up?
Man, my little lad's gone away now. I'm left with technology, so he's probably going to go tits up, mate. Oh, man.
So
Yeah.
listen, me and you, or you and I, have, have been, might between us, we've probably got like 80 plus years of watching the Blues, haven't we?
Yeah, gotta be. Yeah, I was going to say, I 1968, 14th of December 1968. So, how about yourself?
I can't remember the exact date, but it's around then. It probably might. It's a long story, mate, because my dad was a Villa fan and my mum and dad separated. And my brother and sister,
Because of that.
huh?
Because of that.
Could have been. My brother and sister are actually Villa fans, but like when I was little, my uncle Ron used to take me to watch the Blues because we lived in Acox Green. We're Blues. He was a Blues fan, so
Yeah.
we used to go. So I'm going to say it's around the same time probably. Because one of the first memories for me, the big memories, I can remember little bits about seeing bits of games, but the
Yeah.
biggest memory for me was the 67-68 FA Cup season.
Right. Oh, God, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Good. I, I'd started to get into football a bit by then. I mean, I was seven, so a lot of it was passing me by really. Um, but God, what we're so lucky
I
to have
know.
got involved in the era that we did,
Yeah,
simply because we know what blues can be.
yeah.
I mean, my little lad, like he's been brought up on flipping Wes Thomas and Leroy Lita. You know what I mean? And
Jesus,
I know, yeah.
that's
I,
child cruelty. That is.
it is, isn't it? And it's them I feel for, because we know how good this place can be. And
Pete, if you tell people, obviously, like younger people, that you can't explain what it's like with 52,000 people in that ground, can you?
absolutely not. I mean, I can't remember what I've done 5 minutes ago, but I can
But you can
remember
remember that.
I can remember my first visit to St Andrews, just like you know yesterday. It was absolutely. I should have actually gone 2 weeks before. We played Hull and beat them 5-2, but I wasn't feeling too good. I mean, my mum, bless her, like she's very protective of me and my brother. And I mean, me dad's sort of thing, like he's sort of like ex-parachute regiment, big stocky geezer sort of thing. And there's me mum, sort of like 5 foot nothing, but he was shit scared of her.
If they lost, mate, did they come home and thrash you all?
But she says, oh no, Peter can't go to the football. He's got a little sniff of a cold, and I
Oh,
was
come on, Pete, you wimp. Didn't you
and
go?
I was all in tears and everything, and oh, we've got to go, and then she sort of like laid the law down to said, if he's going to go to the football, you've got to make sure that he sits down, and you've got to take him in the car. So there we go, 14th of December, 1968,
Winter.
winter, yeah. It's we drive in, we get parked up, and my first sort of like memory is these two little kids coming and knocking on the car door,
Yeah, I know what
and
that's going to be.
yeah, and it's sort of like says, oh, Dad, look, there's some kids at the window, And of course, he's wound the window down and they said, "No, mind your car, mister." And I thought, well, how nice is that? That these kids want to mind our car. This is lovely. And the next thing you know, my old man's putting his hand in his pocket and he's giving them some money. And I was sort of like, "Dad, why are you giving them money for?" Like, and he says, "Well, if we didn't give them money, we wouldn't have a car to come back to afterwards." So, talk about naive, you know. So then we walk up to the ground, and the seats we're actually renting was the paddock.
Oh.
Well, there wasn't seats; they were benches. They were
Well, they
wooden
used
benches.
to have. They used to have those wooden benches. Used to be in the paddock, which was
Yeah,
underneath the main stand,
that's
and they
it. Yeah.
also used to be in the railway end. You know,
Oh, in the upstairs bit,
no, and downstairs.
right?
Yeah. So, but I'm not sure if they had the wooden benches in first and then removed them, or they had this terrace first and then built the wooden benches on them. Someone will tell us.
Yeah,
So
because
it was
what?
terrace at one time underneath.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's where I actually started. But when I was allowed to stand up, actually used to go and stand in the railway end anyway.
I did as
Um,
well.
yeah, and obviously you'd have away fans in there, but I didn't really see much serious aggro.
I don't even remember away fans in the railway, to be
No,
honest.
I mean there was as many Blues as there were
Yeah.
away fans, but you know, so getting back to this Bristol City game, so there I am on my wooden bench, and it's sort of like I was just in awe of what I was looking around at, like you know, that
Was it a night game?
no.
My first one was a night game.
Oh right, even better. I mean, the floodlights did come on, but I'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah.
But it was just everything that was surrounding that the whole experience stayed with me. I mean, I looked and I said the goalposts and the stanchions, they were a thing of beauty to me. I thought, wow, these are absolutely fantastic. And moving on, I thought, well, I must be the only nerd going who actually notices what stanchions are like in goal areas. I mean,
No,
today
you wasn't, mate. Honest.
they're all the same. And anyway, so when I got into all this flipping technology malarkey and got on Facebook, there's an actual group called Goal Nets and Stanchions,
There
and
you go.
one of us all waxing lyrical about these flipping stanchions and everything. But I mean, they were absolutely they were proper rounded stanchions. I was.
Yeah, yeah.
The net at the time was orange, and they were perfect.
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as I got home, that was it. Then I started drawing and drawing stanchions and with the orange nets and everything. There are hundreds and hundreds of draw. I wish I could have found them now, like you know. But as you do when you move around, things tend to get
You tend
lost.
to throw your stanchion drawings away.
Yeah, but you know, and then all of a sudden, like the team come out, but there was no warm ups or anything in them day. They'd come out sort of like 5 or 6 minutes before the game was about to kick off. So they'd probably be being, you know, looking at how the horse racing was getting on with the ITV7 or
Having a
something.
fag.
Yeah, yes, like that. And then when they come out, like the colours was like absolutely perfect. Like you know, the royal blue shirts, royal blue shorts, white socks. Bristol had their red shirts on and whatever. I was just absolutely taken aback with everything that was going on. And I looking around, and then we scored in the first minute. Fred Pickering scored,
Oh,
put us
good old Fred, huh?
brilliant, and like everyone's all up and cheering, and oh wow, this is fantastic. I'm more sort of like followed what everybody else was
Yeah.
doing, not you know, oh yeah, everyone's jumped up, I'll jump up, sort of thing. And then he was saying, yeah, it's going to be like the whole game. We're going to score 5. And him 14 minutes later, Fred Pickering, he scored again. We're 2-0 up. Wow, this is, I'm absolutely loving everything about what's going on. And then we didn't score again. But, everyone was sort of like in a happy mode and whatever. And then it come to the half times, and then obviously like you've got the big Jeff Hall Memorial scoreboard in the one corner opposite us, but just behind me there was these big letters as well. In the main stand, and I went, wow, look at all this, that's, wow. And I was waiting for these scores to go up, sort of thing. So Dad gave me a program. Like everybody had a program, didn't they? That was what, you go to a game, you get a program. Not so much like it today, but and then Dad was saying, explaining it to me, see all these letters, look for the teams, and all of a sudden, 1-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. And then it come to the Villa one, and I'll never forget that they was playing Preston away, and the score went up like the 2 went up next to Preston, and the whole crowd's cheering again, just like we'd scored a goal. Wow, this is great. I didn't know why. I didn't understand the whole Villa.
Yeah.
So no, it was just the fact that Preston 2, Villa 0. Everyone's all happy and cheering again. So the next time I went, I was really excited and looking forward to half time to see how Villa was getting. And that was my start.
That started it.
Wanting them to lose.
Well, those days of going in the when you went in the railway, did you go in on your own?
No, I was with me dad and my uncle.
Did you get passed over the turnstiles?
No.
I did.
Well, think of the money that you owe Blues now.
Hey, come on, it weren't me. It was my uncle, and he's dead. Good luck with that.
Yeah, they might be sending you and I owe you.
Robbing bastards.
No.
But I remember being passed over the turnstiles. And one of my biggest memories of being in the railway end was we went to the quarter-final against Chelsea in the FA Cup. Now, that year, 67, 68, I was lucky enough to go to every game in that FA Cup. Went from Halifax, where we won 4-2. I think we beat Orient in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
St Andrews. Then I think we went to Halifax and won 4-2. And I went there, the Shea Ground. What a dump. I was only a kid. Yeah. Then Sheffield Wednesday, I think, away at Hillsborough. And we drew 1 each and bought them back on a Tuesday night. Now, Sheffield Wednesday were in Division 1, remember? We were in the old 2nd division. So, bought them back to St Andrews Tuesday night, under the lights. 52,000. It was just, I could not believe it. It was like, oh my God, and we won 2-1. Then
it's like from playing on the Saturday, you'd play again, you'd play on the Tuesday. There's none of this having to sort something out with the old bill and that. It's just okay, there you go.
That replay was played 3 days later, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So then we went to Highbury and drew 1-1 with Arsenal. Brought them back to St Andrews, where I seen my favourite goal of all time.
I'm going to say Barry Bridges, isn't it?
Barry Bridges' overhead kick against Arsenal. We beat them 2-1. Yeah. And then we played Chelsea in the quarter-final. So I was behind the railway. And if you remember, Pete, on the railway, and there's a little white wall.
Yes, yeah.
Behind the goals. Went all the way along, before fences, Okay. So a copper sat me on that wall, right in the middle of the net. And I thought, oh shit, it's not great trying to look through the net to see the game, but still in my mind's eye now, to this day, I can see it as well as I saw it then. A ball coming over and Fred Pickering stooping right in front of me to head the ball into the net right in front of me. And I was like, can we beat Chelsea 1-0? In that quarter-final, and that is as vivid to me now as it was then. And then, of course, the rest is history. We went to Villa Park, lost to Albion 2-0, and Albion went on to win the cup. But that memory of that day is vivid to me. That goal right in front of my eyes, you know.
Yeah, but probably the same as your beating Chelsea was my beating Bristol City. But after the game, I've come out and I'm rubbing my eyes, and my dad's saying, "Are you all right, son?" and whatever. And I say, "Well, no, mate, I'm having trouble seeing." Says, "Well, why? What's the matter?" Said, "Oh, I've been looking up at the floodlights, trying to count how many floodlights." Oh, the things that you
Oh boy,
think.
era, literally.
Yeah, but oh, what a team! Sort of, I mean, Fred Pickering, Jimmy Green, off flipping Trevor Rocket. How we never got up.
Well, I mean, that season when they got to the FA Cup semi-final, I can't remember when they got promoted, 70, 71.
It's 71, 72. We
That's
actually
it,
got
yeah, yeah.
promoted. I
But
mean,
that team then, I think, when people talk about the Freddie Goodwin team,
yeah.
I think that Stan Cully's team was as good, if not better.
Oh, it's absolutely. They would just score goals for fun, wouldn't we?
When
But
the first season, Pete, I watched them, and it might have been, you might remember these. There was a set of night games. We used to play on a Tuesday like we do now.
yes,
And I think
always
we
a
beat
Tuesday.
Portsmouth 6-2, we beat Hull 6-2, we beat Huddersfield 6-3. All of these are night games, I think. And Jeff Bowden came on and scored first ever substitute to come on and score a hat-trick. And
Yeah,
that's when you had one substitute, didn't you?
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
We used to score goals for fun, didn't we?
yeah, and I always say, like, I mean, we had an international goalkeeper as well.
Jim Elliott.
Yeah, the only problem was he was a Scottish international goalkeeper, which probably said a lot why we didn't go up. To be honest,
He weren't the best, was he?
we used to do. We put in mud under his eyes as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps I should have done that when I was looking up at the floodlights, and I wouldn't have come out flipping rubbing my eyes. There you go. Lesson learned, Mr. Harriet. Yeah.
But those gates were amazing, weren't they? And of course there was no health and safety or anything, was there? I mean, there just wasn't.
No.
I suppose now it's got to a stage where we have to have it, But when I look at St Andrews now, I just can't imagine like 52,000 people in there. But when
No.
you look at the pictures of the old ground empty, you still can't imagine 52,000, can you? It's like,
No. Well, then obviously we started off with the Freddie Goodwin era. I was still going with me dad and an uncle at this stage, and we come into the Superboy era,
oh,
and yeah, honestly, unless you lived through it, you couldn't explain to people what it was like.
mm.
From sort of like breaking through. He was Trevor, wasn't he? And the gates. More and more people, because our games weren't televised. Well, they weren't. Well,
You might get, you would have Sunday soccer and match of the day, wouldn't you? I think.
yeah, but we weren't getting a look in, and then
No.
we got sort of like 16-year-old kid flipping scoring all these goals and whatever. The only way you'd get to see him was going down the game, and the word of mouth started, and the more goals he was scoring, and we gone from, I mean, I was lucky enough to be there for that when he scored his four goals. You could speak to 100,000 people who
And they
said,
were all there.
it's one of them stories that grows there. Funny thing with that game as well, that it was the first game that was decimal currency, our first decimal currency game.
83.
Not 1971.
Oh, sorry. So 71. Yeah, it's all right. I was getting confused there.
So it was the first one where at the turnstiles people were having to pay with this new money as well. But yeah, it's going for, and I think he scored about 16 goals in 15 games or whatever.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? So, he was such just a natural footballer, wasn't he? He was absolutely brilliant. Different
And
people say now, like comparing to Joe Bellingham, you can't compare them. You
no,
just can't compare them. They're two very different footballers, but they're both absolutely magnificent.
and I mean, like the adulation that was around Trevor and this aura about him. We were sort of like getting started off with crowds of about 25,000, and it ended up we played Cardiff, and there was like 49,000. Well, that was official gates. Blues used to fiddle gates anyway, didn't they?
Yeah.
By people getting passed over the turnstiles, you know what it's like, Steve, don't you?
Yeah. I still
Yeah,
try to get passed over now, but I just won't. Nobody will pass me over.
I mean, as it is now, sort of thing. Like we 49,000 against Cardiff for a second division game. It was just this whole Trevor thing was absolutely incredible. So privileged to have.
And to be fair, they had some good players around him as well. When you look at, for instance, like your Howard Kendalls and Archie Gemmels and players like this.
Yeah.
As the era went on, Colin Todd, we were lucky enough to see, weren't we?
Yeah, but I mean, I've got to drag you back a bit, Steve. So I've always had this thing, I mean, brought up Blues play blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks because it's the first kit I saw, and for the first 3 years that was my kit, and then all of a sudden this penguin thing come out. Now I looked at it and I, what the effing hell is that? I couldn't believe how bad it was. To me, it was bad. Now, to a lot of people, they're saying it's the best kit. It was what they think of as a Blues kit. But I always thought that a lot of that is because of the team that wore that kit, that gives you this golden memory of your Latchford Hatton, Francis.
But Trev wore the old blue kit.
Yes, he did absolutely.
That was his first kit, blue, white.
That's what I'm sort of getting at. But I mean that the first year we actually won it was the year that we got promotion, and then sort of like for the next 3 years afterwards, which were living a dream really.
And they didn't change kits every year then either, did they?
No. But it was just that first blue socks.
See, I've never been in love with the Penguin kit. I like it because of the era.
Well, that's the whole thing I was trying to get at. It was players that were in it and the era of success that we were having, almost like gives you rose tinted glasses about that.
Yeah.
It was just going from what to me was a Blues kit to this. What is that?
See, I've always thought of the Blues kit as being blue, white, and that's why I was really chuffed when we went into Premiership for the first season that we had the blue, white, because that's the kit for me.
Yeah.
So my favourite kit was the old Adidas white shorts, white socks, short sleeve, 3 stripes, world and football Adidas badge. I love that shirt.
Yes, that was brilliant. That one was,
wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. But I mean, sort of like, so we've gone from the promotion thing. We're in the first division and whatever. So I'm getting up to about 13 or 14 now. And I didn't want to go with me dad and uncle anymore. I wanted to go with my mates. And it's so sad when I'd give anything to go to a football game with my dad now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But or you just you're at school, you hear your kids are your mates are going as a group sort of thing. You want to go and stand with them and that, and eventually that's what I did. And but sad really looking back, I think, well, turn around to my dad and say, Dad, I want to go with my mates.
I bet he
Yeah.
was a bit hurt, you know.
I bet he was, sort of thing, like, he says, "Oh, well, piss off then."
Yeah, but
But
there are special times, you know. And I
yeah,
often see blokes with the kids now, you know, and
yeah,
you see them in our group all the time, you know, like in the project group, and photos of them. And I always write on the bottom of the photo, make the most of it.
there's never a true word there,
Yeah,
mate. Yeah.
because you don't understand, mate. The next minute, you know, they're there, you know, and they're not kids anymore, and you've got to make the most of it. And those times, you know, and this is one of the sad things about blues now, in a way, is that thing of like going down with your dad, it isn't there so much, is it? You know.
No, you've got your Arthur's area sort of thing, but I mean, the whole thing about your mates thing. You had your place on the terrace, didn't you?
Where did you stand with your mates?
In started off in the Tilton and then over into the cop sort of thing. Um, but but you could actually walk around anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
It was,
I used to stand in G2 on the cop, me and my mates, which was
yeah,
like just before the Tilton corner, you know, the cop corner there. Just
yeah,
coming a bit, about, I don't know, quarter of the way back, you know, just under the covers in case it started raining. But we
yeah.
stood there for years, years. I stood in G2.
That's it. You used to see the same faces doing the same thing. That was you had your spot, didn't you?
Yeah. And then you
Yeah,
score, and you know you're going mad, and then you stand, you like you relax and you look, and you've just been cuddling some person that you've never ever seen in your life before. You know,
yeah,
your arms round them, kissing them, like, well, not kissing them, but you know,
yeah.
complete strangers. You know,
Some blues fans put a book out, haven't they? Hugging strangers or something.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
true though, isn't it? You know,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
people wouldn't believe it, but that's exactly what you did. And you would have conversations with complete strangers about players and about the game. I suppose it's the equivalent of your sort of Facebook now, really, you know.
yeah. I mean, did you have a pre-match ritual of what you did? I mean, like mine was. They put it this way: it was a lot different before I discovered the demon drink.
Yeah. Well, we used to, I mean, I lived in Acott's Green, so we used to get a 31 up to Camp Hill as it was then,
Oh yeah,
with the
yeah,
Nightingale on one side and the church on the other, you know, and
yeah,
walk down the church, long, slow walk up. And we used to get in the ground really early when we was young.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah,
You know, get in like 45 minutes before the start, and you're excited, you know, get your program.
yeah,
And literally like just wait for the game until,
yeah.
like you said, we discovered the pubs. You know,
Yeah, it's all downhill since. Yeah, I mean, I was coming in from West Heath anyway, so same sort of thing. You know that walk up to the ground, and I mean, you go. There were so many pubs, but you, as a kid, you'd walk past them. A bit different when you got to sort of like 17, 18, because you was going in and you get in and sort of like singing a game. People the singing would usually start about 2 o'clock.
yeah,
The group, and it would start and build up towards the kickoff and whatever. And the dreaded knees up Mother Brown. Oh my God, that was the hell on earth. That was.
you get carried quite a long way away, wouldn't you?
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
If you
then
remember all the songs back from then, when you look at like the songs that the fans
yeah,
sing now, I mean, fair play. You know, I'm going to knock it because you do what you do. But the songs then were just unbelievable, weren't they? Inventive and, you know, non-stop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite fun. Like, going back to the Bristol game, you know, I mean, none of this, the tamper or whatever. The walkout song was
Like,
Herb Albert and his Tijuana Brass and Spanish Flea. Anyone watching it, you've got to do
I remember it, mate. Yeah, always.
it.
And then they used to play that "Come Rain, Wind, Sleet and Snow," didn't they? You know that thing. Like,
Song, yeah.
and then Bob Bromley would come out. He didn't have a bird then, did he? He was on his own.
No, that's it. Yeah, single dog. Yeah, but then the song that came on afterwards, I mean, must have had it for about 4 or 5 years. Was this thing called grooving with Mister Blow?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What a song
the
that
tune
was!
now.
Yeah, what a song that was. That was proper. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, weren't exactly the tamper, was it? Herb Albert and the Spanish Flea.
But every time I hear that Spanish Fly, I always think of the blues, you know, and smells as well. I could always remember like the smell of pipe tobacco from when I was a kid.
Oh, God, absolutely. You go to the Boxing Day game, like all the old men had been given a cigar for Christmas, hadn't they? Yeah. So it had gone from flipping part of the smell of Park Drive to the smell of cigars for one day only. You're going to stink of flipping Will's whiffs, yeah.
And I get Will's whiffs, and I get like asked the question quite a lot whether it's true or not. Did people used to just pee on the cup?
Yeah.
You tell people that, they don't believe it, you know.
Oh, you got to do what you got to do, haven't you?
You've got 52,000 people in there, and you've got like a sheet of corrugated iron at the back. That's the toilet. What are you going to do? And you've just had 6 pints.
Yeah, I mean, bless them. I mean, time moves on, don't we? But it does bring a bit of a smile to my face when people are moaning that there's no hot water in the toilet.
When you remember that toilet at the back, Pete, honestly, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know, how come we're still alive, mate?
Yeah, it was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I was looking at, I put some photos up last week in the group, and it was a St Andrews empty, like from all those years ago, and it showed the long steps up to the back of the cop. And I'd forgotten about them, you know.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Little things you sort of forget. Bloody hell, yeah, you know, that's a long walk up there. That was, you know.
Yeah.
But
sorry, when the drink when I started going in pubs as well, because I was coming from West Steve, the 45 would drop at John Bright Street, and there was the pub there, the Parasol.
Not Parasol. Used to go to Parasol.
Yeah. Which later on, years later, it became Flares or something like that, or whatever.
And the Blue Pot next door, wasn't
it? That's it. Which was then became Sam Weller's, or
so whatever.
Further on down the line. But with this Parasol, all the naughty boys used to meet down there, and it was one of the few pubs that actually had a disco. A DJ on a Saturday morning. I've always wondered why more pubs never actually had music on. So I mean, it used to get absolutely rammed, sort of thing, but then come 2 o'clock it'd empty because everyone would all then be wanting to go and say hello to the away fans that were getting off their football special, and you'd give them a nice little, you walk side by side with them up to the ground. Yeah, that's it. A nice Brummy welcome and that, yeah. But
I mean, I always remember the away fans being escorted in, you know.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Well, from 1983, Pete, I had the barrel organ.
All right, yeah.
and so at that time we used to like we didn't used to let away fans in really, you know. We would sometimes occasionally, so we'd finish, I'd have a couple of drinks and then go up to the game, because it isn't far away, is it, you know?
Right.
But one
Now
day
I've got you on the spot, right? The barrel organ, it weren't cheap for an Ansel's pub, mate.
they stopped complaining, bloody hell.
Look, you know, there's a reason I walk past this.
Yeah, I know, yeah, to put people like you off, mate, that's what that money was for.
Yeah, you had some good bands on there, though.
Oh, mate, yeah, it was fantastic pub. You know, some great bands on there.
Yeah.
But going back to the story, one Saturday, I was late coming in, and there was only the girls on, so I thought they'd be all right. Like, they're it's a blues only pub, like, you know. They got in, there's a load of Newcastle fans in there. What have you done? Like, we didn't know they were Newcastle. They're all sitting there like Geordie accents, dressed in black and white striped shirts. I'm going, how the fuck don't you know they're Newcastle supporters? Anyway, like, come to 2:15, I thought time for them to go. 2:30 closing then, you know.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, Susan had a real battle on me and getting rid of them. There was a few blues in there, and in the end, like, it was all kicking off at the bottom of the barrel organ, you know, by the doors out to the. Anyway, that's just one that sticks in my mind, you know. But we very rarely had any issues at the barrel organ. But I know, obviously, around Digbeth.
Yeah.
Digbeth's got a lot of little side streets in it and a lot of little pubs.
It certainly has. Yeah. You know, I mean, sort of like there's been enough books written about the hooligan side of things anyway.
Well, there was Wally's book, went the Zulu, you know, and that was
yeah,
you know, right, you know.
It is quite funny, like, because although we used to go to every single game, we was not part of that Zulu thing, and looking at accounts of games that you've been to,
You get a different memory of them.
You're seeing it through beer goggles and a different thing. Then bloody hell, like, you know, I'm glad I missed that sort of like bit out. But trust me, you know, we following blues away. There was times you was glad they were there, for it that way.
Yeah, you know, and but there was a lot of little. To be fair, there was a lot of little groups of blues fans that probably didn't, or you know, it's not like everyone turned up in a big group and went. No. You know, there was lots of little groups of like 10, 15. And if you happen to be helped out by someone else, then fantastic, you know. And it happened a lot, you know. I mean, I got run all around Cardiff once, me and a couple of my mates, when it was Ninian Park. You know, it's like round there. Did you've been to Ninian Park?
Yeah.
All little alleyways, and you know, oh, you know, mate, what a nightmare that was. But you know, it happens, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, I started going regular away 1975, 76, but when I started work and I could be able to afford it, because the dad that had told I don't want to go to the football anymore, I couldn't go scrounge and say, Dad, can I have a bit of money to go to the away game? I was having to, you know, you're paying for making your own way by this time, right? So I started going to away games on these Everton Gold Liner coaches, they were called, because they used to pick up sort of like Westheath, Northfield way and whatever.
Was that the company, was it, that did it?
Yeah. And there weren't many coaches who wanted to actually run to away. There was the Everton and Gold Liner coaches from the south side of the city.
Well, we went on Smith's, we did.
There was Smith's the other side.
Yeah, we went on Smith's Imperial coaches.
Yeah.
They're on the Stratford Road. But they used to pick up at the Gospel Oak. And I used to live in Aco. So it's not just a little walk up the road. So pick up at Gospel Oak, drop off in town. So you get dropped off at the Odeon. So you got to have a few drinks.
Yeah.
Handy, like, you know, dead handy.
You know, I mean, so that was my first thing. And like I say, you know, I had 2 years when I hadn't started drinking and whatever. And the highlight of the day was going in a service station. You know, you really look forward to, you know, oh, great, I can go in a service station and get something to eat here. Rather, you sort of like, your priorities change somewhat once you'd found drink anyway, and other
I don't know,
ways of.
like, it's funny, really, you know, because I don't know if you watch. Do you watch any YouTube?
Yeah,
So do you watch Davo's stuff? You know, like with
yeah,
Tony Routley's coaches.
yeah.
When you see that, like, it really makes me want to go away again, you know, because it's just great. But then you see him like with that Sunderland game, and you see him afterwards, and you think, oh, thank God I don't go, like, you know, because it's heartbreaking, but you have such a crack on that, and you know, like on Tony's coaches as well. It does look like really good fun, you know.
Well, I only caught the end of it. The Greenway coaches. I mean, this is when I just started drinking. I mean,
Yeah,
Sefton used to run them, and there was some right lunatics used to go on there. But it was one of them things that you'd start off with a coach of 50 and you'd come back with a coach of 20.
yeah.
So there always there was always plenty of room to stretch your legs on the way back. I mean, that coach is absolutely notorious for some of the antics that got up to. And then there was obviously like the football specials as well.
The trains.
For certain games, yeah.
Did you ever go? Did you ever go and? Do you remember a guy called Tony Clarkson?
Yeah.
Well, Tony Clarkson used to do coaches as well. He's a good lad, Tony. You know.
Well, he run coaches to Italy when we was in that.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Italian thing, didn't we? Yeah.
And I run a couple of coaches with Tony for the Leyland Daft Cup final.
Yeah.
I think we did 3 coaches, but we took them from the Robin Hood in Hall Green. But that was a great crack, you know. But Tony Clarkson's a lovely guy. I don't know what's happened to him.
No.
I haven't seen him literally for years. But he was a nice bloke.
I mean, much later, started going on the Gunners, the gun makers, which was run by Jerry Quigley.
Yeah.
He then brought the Black Horse, which he then made into the St Andrews Tavern and whatever. And there was some brilliant, great times on there. I look at this, you know, Tony Routley's coaches and whatever. I mean, it was a throwback to what those coaches, Jerry Quigley's coaches were as well. Like, you know, but I mean, the problem was we used to play cards as well, and you'd do all your money by the time you'd flipping hit the motorway half the time, you know what I mean? And then you was off having to scrounge for the rest of the day, you know what I mean? Because the one thing with playing cards that you find out, money finds money, don't it?
Yeah. Always.
It starts off all nice and friendly. Oh, we'll have a game of sort of like, you know, chase the ace or whatever. Then it don't take long, and then it's on to 3-card brag, and it, you know, or I'll go £5 blind, or go, and that's it. Then in it, you know, the money men are on the.
I've got to be honest. I don't want to sound like a bore here, mate, but I never ever gamble. My dad used to gamble.
Yeah,
it ain't for me. And I've never done it. Luckily, you know. But I know a lot of people do, and I know it's a good crack as well. Like, you know, you can sort of see it. I don't even bet on the football.
It's not when you're like me and you used to bloody lose. No, I'm not going to go again. Like, but
you know, when we got promoted to the Premier League, did you go away then?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I went straight back into going to every away game. I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was an adventure, weren't it, as well, sort of thing, like with this Premier League business.
You remember the first one at Highbury?
Arsenal, yeah. I remember a certain coach of ours who's coached there now, a certain Mr. Ashley Cole, getting
Ashley Cole. I wasn't going to say the next bit, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And then
Dilly Adibola was there, wasn't he, with us?
Yeah, and then we got our first points away at Everton on a night.
Penalty, Stern John. Did you go?
Yeah. I went every single
I
game.
did as well. I did. That was a good. And then we had Liverpool away, I think, the next week or the week after.
And we drew to each. Yeah,
Yeah,
we was
because we went to
drew
when we
to
went to
all.
Goodison, we parked by Goodison by the cemetery. And do you know the taxi club, taxi owners club?
Yeah,
We went there and we joined for 10 pence. And you go in, and obviously, like the booze is a lot cheaper. So we went to Liverpool 2 weeks later, parked there again, went in, cheap booze again, good crack, Nice
yeah.
game though. Then I've got a blue shirt on. I've got a blue shirt on, unfortunately. And then we're walking back across Stanley Park. Then it's pitch black, like 10 o'clock at night. So it's shitting ourselves. But it's a shame about Goodison, isn't it? Because it's a nice ground. But where they put the away fans is shit, isn't it?
Well, the first time I went there was at 1976. It was like Howard Kendall and Archie Styles' first return to Goodison.
Yeah.
And they got a standing ovation, and really sort of like they loved Howard Kendall there. But I mean, I'd gone on the Everton's coaches, and they park you by Stanley Park, sort of thing. And then you remember that Michael Jackson video, Thriller,
Yeah.
when all these people come out of the graves. Well, it was just like that. You'd get off the coach, and there was all these little scallies suddenly appear from behind these flipping graveyards, and it was flipping. Oh, shit yourself!
Yeah.
Get up to the ground. I'll never get it. Oh, you went up to the ground. Went to the copper. I says, mate, where do the Birmingham fans go? He says, back to fucking Birmingham. And that was the copper. So it's almost like one of them every man for himself jobs. That was.
Tone, right? What's the scariest away game you've been to?
Well, I used to hate going to Liverpool for that very reason, sort of thing. Yeah, I would say I didn't. That was my worst place to go, was Liverpool.
Yeah, okay. A lot of people always mention Millwall, don't they? I've been to the Old Den several times and never had any problems at the Old Den.
Well, we had serious problems the one time because our coach had, rather than go the official way, ended up going down the flipping Old Kent Road, and we got caught between two pubs.
Yeah, I remember that. It got bricked in it. The coach.
Well, it weren't so much brick. They was trying to flipping set fire to the thing.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. That was a bit scary.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
one
always found Millwall okay, and I mean the new Den is a doddle in it.
Yeah.
I mean, coaches and that now go straight into the away end, don't they?
Yeah, that playoff game, like, I mean,
oh yeah,
because they kept everybody back, nobody really had much idea of the scale of what shit was going on further down there. It's almost like, oh well, they're letting fireworks off because they'd brought in case they'd got promoted. But they kept us in for it. But even by the time we went to Levy, it was like flipping Beirut. There was that many bricks and everything. Or all these flipping women were coming out the flats giving us the old wave off and everything. And it was only when we got back to the Black Horse, it was still the Black Horse at the time. And the Jerry let us have a stopover anyway. You started to see what had actually gone on that was coming up on the news and everything.
That's the thing, Paul. But I often think, it's like, what happened in the old game a few weeks ago when we was at home to Hull and all that shit afterwards,
Yeah.
The way the fans... I often think some ways, and I know like I'll get slated for this, I often think some ways like Blues fans are a bit like Millwall fans. Don't quite know when to stop.
No.
Because when it gets... I've seen Blues fans do it so many times, not at St Andrews, but I've seen them do it away especially, is when it gets that point when it's almost fever pitch. And then, well, you've seen it against Villa when what's his name ran on to the keep to Enkelman, and give him the old, and Grealish got a whack around the head and all that. It weren't that far away because I was thinking to myself, you know what? It wouldn't somebody would run on, fucking give Rooney a slap or something. You know what I mean? It was toxic that night, wasn't it?
Yeah, the whole game was nasty. Yeah, but weren't very nice at all. But getting back to sort of like relationships with other Blues, I ended up being a steward.
Do you know what? Do you know Azza?
Well, I know people more than names a lot of the time. I got a job as a steward when they was just starting to that they'd knocked the cop down and the children, and they were doing the rebuild. I'll never forget me sort of like job interview as such. They just said, "Have you been in trouble?" Nah, And I looked around at some of these stewards, and
I remember him at so and so. I remember him at somewhere else like it.
We weren't like that. You were properly checked. They were just short on numbers, but the whole idea of it was that they were only Blues fans looking after Blues fans, which worked. It worked for me because I was saving up to get married, so I was getting. I didn't have to buy a season ticket. B, I was actually getting paid, although we were the worst paid stewards. Even the stewards at Kidderminster Harriers were getting more money than we were.
Same old Blues, eh?
Yeah, and I was saving on my beer money before a game as well. So that was my excuse for becoming a steward. But there was three types of stewards you got there. You got the Jobsworths. You got the freeloaders like me. There was a lot like me. And there was like the little Hitlers who it was sort of like a power.
Took it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I was just there to watch a game. And they started me off. They put me on trackside, and you're supposed to watch the crowd and whatever. Turn around. I used to watch the game, and they used to pull us up about it. Why, because you used to have the one bloke who'd come and walk around. What are you watching the game for? Watch the crowd, sort of thing. And my argument was, well, yeah, the crowd will react to what's going on at the game. So eventually they shoved me up in the Olympic gallery, so I was out of view. Because like obviously where I was at pitch side, like when we was on the telly, they were just panning around. It weren't a good look really. There's the one steward watching the match, so they hid me up in the Olympic gallery, and that was brilliant. That was because by this time,
good view up there, isn't it?
It's a long flipping trek.
Yeah, going up them stairs.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, by this, it was all season tickets holders by then anyway. So all you just used to have, if anything got a bit naughty, everyone was sitting in the same seat. You got to know the people. Anybody got a bit boisterous, just say, "Oh well, the cameras are on you. You'll lose your ticket. Just calm down a bit." Like, yeah, never had an ounce of trouble up there. An absolute doddle that was.
It was quite a shock, wasn't it, when we went into the new stadium?
Yes, very much so.
It's like it was weird, and it was nice, in a way, but it was really sad in another way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of like a bit of blues died when.
I think it did,
Yeah,
definitely. But at least we got the main stand still there. The main stand's older than anyone else, I think.
Yeah, there's no excuse for not going to the toilet for a piss now, is there?
And that's the worst thing because you don't. Every time I go for piss, they score.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You need to go more often, Steve, when you're down there. I mean, especially at the moment. But I ended up getting the sack as a steward.
I'm not surprised.
No, well, it wasn't for a blues game. It was for a Duran Duran concert. And they put me in charge of where the disabled section was, sort of thing. So, there's a load of flipping tasty women around, as you were. So you've got the power then, haven't you? Oh, look, these are the best seats in the house. Yeah, love. Do you want to come and sit here? So they're all sat in the disabled section. All these flipping, you know, top fans, real top draw women are all in there. I thought, oh well, they might thank me later. You never know. Getting them the best seats in the house. Everything was all right until Duran come on, and they all started leapt up and started dancing. It was like Jesus had performed a miracle, and all this disabled section was up dancing away. And on the back of that, I got the flipping sack. Outrageous.
Seriously, Pete, honestly, what is the world coming to, mate?
I know. They're lost anyway.
Yeah. But I think, like, it's been, I don't know, like for me, it's hard for me to sort of put into words what I think about supporting the Blues, because I've got a deep love of the Blues, and what I don't like is, I'm not just talking about owners from all the way throughout the years, the Weldons, the Kumars, the Coons, the Sullivans, the Carson Youngs, the BSHL, these guys now, they're only custodians of our club.
Yeah, we're the heart and soul. Yeah.
We own the club.
Yeah.
We own the club, Pete, because you see this conversation we just had.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a fucking clue about it.
No.
We know what the heart of the club is. Blues for me, and I'm going to say it because I'm a Blues fan, aren't I? But we're the proper Brummies.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Villa fans feel they're the proper Brummies. But really, we are, because we're more sort of Birmingham-based, aren't we, our fan base?
Well, you've only got to look at the history of Birmingham that tells you why we're the proper Brummies anyway.
Yeah.
Them lot weren't even part of Birmingham until 1911 anyway, was they?
Yeah. And they'd won most of their honours by then.
Yeah. You look at it as well, especially with this bloody David Cameron getting back in his foot in the door and wherever, they've got sort of like prime ministers, they've got future kings of England support them. We've got Jasper Carrott.
Yeah, but it's sort of right for us, that, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's,
I like having Jasper Carrot and Jeffrey.
Yeah, Nigel Kennedy can stick his bloody fiddle where the sun don't shine, doesn't it?
Yeah. So with the poor neighbours, but I don't care about that. That's what I like about us. I love our scruffy accents as well. We've got a proper scruffy Brummie accent, as my ex-wife used to call it. So and it's us in it with Brummies, mate. With Brummies. It's part of your blood, Blues, isn't it? And it doesn't matter what happens to the club. And when you see all the people at the moment going on about, oh my God, we'll give him another 10 games, we'll do this, we'll do that. They don't understand what we've been through.
No.
I've been in that ground with 7,000 people in there.
Yeah, I was going to say we've gone from the glory years of Superboy Trevor Francis and 50,000 crowds and cup semi-final runs and the best times, absolutely, to going down to the flipping the Weldon era and whatever. I wouldn't have any problems counting the light bulbs when he was in charge, would I?
The thing the one that I always remember when I think of how bad it gets, not because it was a bad thing. I had a great night this particular night, but we played Wigan away on a Tuesday night, and it was pissing down with rain in Division 3, and we was on the mud bank.
Yeah.
Cow bank at the back, the cow shed, and we was all doing the conga.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember the score, but I can remember being soaking wet, covered in shit, playing away in the 3rd division on a Tuesday night in Wigan.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself about winning the League Cup at Wembley. They're a fucking million miles apart. But you know what? I was probably just as happy almost at Wigan as I was at Wembley. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Or that first Leyland Daft Cup win, you know. It was like we did the double, didn't we? We won the third division. Barry Fry said he did the double. He won the third division and the Leyland Daft.
It all counts, mate. But I mean, like from going from sort of like a Friday night losing 4-0 to Chester, going to Mansfield losing 5-2, going to Aldershot in the first. The one thing that I had was I wanted to see Blues at Wembley. I thought after I'm going to have to mention the F word, after Fulham, I thought that was it. I thought I'm never going to see Blues at Wembley. And then the one plus point of getting relegated into the third was that there was this Leyland Daft, this competition for third and fourth. We got a great chance of doing it. The first year we was down there, we was in a group with Hereford and Aldershot, and we lost 3-0 away at Aldershot. We managed to beat Hereford 1-0, but we never qualified. And I think it's just not going to happen, is it? I'm never going to get to Wembley. And then, of course, as we know, flipping, you know, thanks to a bloke that I was never over fond of was Lou Macari or whatever. But I mean that
He was a good. He was. I'll tell you what, though, I didn't want to see him leave.
No, no, absolutely. I couldn't agree. Yeah, I didn't like him from his Man United days. To be honest, I was thinking cocky,
arrogant bastard, like. But I've read a lot about him since, you know.
I know he does a lot.
Apparently, he's an absolutely amazing person, you know.
Yeah, fair play to him. But you know, I mean, that seeing my team play at Wembley. Okay, yeah, it was Tranmere, yeah, and it was the Leyland. It meant the flipping world to me. That did, and I ain't gonna lie. From going in that ground, the first time the crowd started to try and sing "Keep Right On," I burst into tears. And flipping grown man, I was, what was it? I was bloody 30, 31 by this time. I just burst into tears. I can cry like a little baby. You know, I couldn't actually get the words out. It was a dream.
But I think that we had a record then. I think he still stood right to the end. I think we took 80,000 fans to Wembley, and it's the most fans any team has ever taken. That's what I've been told. I haven't checked it.
Well, yeah, it's a bit wrong because we took sort of like over. I think it was sort of like 50,000 or something out of a crowd of 6. There was hardly any Tranmere fans. The next time we was down there,
it might have been the second one against Carlisle.
The Carlisle one, that was sort of like that was a full house at the old Wembley. That was, yeah.
Might have been that one because there weren't many Carlisle there, were
there? No, but you know, just that the amount of times going to away games down in London, you'd go and you'd look over, and for some reason it could be pissing down with rain, but the sun used to seem to shine on these twin towers, and it's if it was like they were taking the piss out of me, you know, ha ha, you'll never get the chance to come here, pal. And then, you know,
lo and behold,
yeah,
but, you know, like the biggest heart. What the Millennium Stadium was a stadium that got me, you know, because we had that heartbreak against Liverpool when we were completely robbed because the referee didn't have the balls to give the penalty.
Yeah,
against AJ, you know, and then conversely, like the other side of it was winning the playoff final, obviously, you know, against Norwich, and that Darren Carter goal, you know.
It's quite funny because I remember going mad at a few people around me because they turn around with the penalties like, oh, I can't watch that. Well, why wouldn't you want to watch this? So are you suddenly going to stop being a Blues fan if he misses? No, you're not. Watch the bloody thing. You know what I mean? And I bet a lot of people are glad that they did now.
You behind the goal?
Pardon?
Were you behind the goal?
No, I was along the side.
Well, we was behind the goal, and like, you know, they got those sort of boxes.
Yeah.
with a balcony on them, and we were right on the back seats with the balconies behind us, and we had Jasper Carrot in the balcony behind us, like,
Oh, right.
and we were like bantering with him, and
Yeah.
and Carter comes to take the penalty, Jasper Carrot goes, if he scores this, are we in the fucking Premiership? I'm going, yeah, we are, yeah. You sure? Fucking yeah, like, we're all sort of, and then the rest is history, innit? I mean, what a penalty, man. Carts is in the history books forever.
I mean, obviously, I mean, Wembley is magical in its own way for the
I love
history
the Millennium Stadium.
of how it was. But that Millennium Stadium is the best ground I've been to in Britain, anyway.
When you walk up the stairs, I think against Norwich, when we walked in, I think they had the roof closed.
They did against Norwich, yeah.
I walked in, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
When it,
Yeah. But I mean, that Liverpool one, we'd gone down on the Saturday and stopped in Porthcawl, I think it was. Like, it's just one of them things. Everywhere you go, blues.
We stayed Bridgend, we did.
But right,
just down the road.
Yeah, but I mean, getting back, what a nightmare that was, because obviously it was the first time Cardiff had actually hosted something like that, where you got flipping everybody all trying to get out, and there's only one way to get out, and I don't think we got back till 3 o'clock in the morning, somewhat ridiculous anyway, because of all the traffic. It was absolutely crazy, that was. But it's sort of like learnt my lesson for the Norwich game. We'd gone down, we'd parked at Newport.
Yeah.
Yeah, got the train back to Newport, and then you got a head start on all the traffic that had got pulled.
It's a real bottleneck, the M5, wouldn't it? You got to sort of get out of there fast.
But I mean, what a magnificent ground, Millennium, brilliant.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely loved it. And Cardiff's a nice city, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the new Wembley, we ended up right the top tier, and it's like trying to watch a game of Subbuteo. You're that far away from the action.
Have you been to Newcastle?
Here's me moaning about going to a cup final, seeing your team win, and I'm moaning about the view.
Have you been to St James's Park?
Yes. On many an occasion.
But you know how high that is the way,
That walk is something else up to them steps, isn't it?
But you see, like, I also love the Stadium of Light. I love that ground.
Yeah.
It was one of the first new builds, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
I think I've been with Blues there 3 times, I think. I don't think I've seen us win. I think we might have won one game. We drew 1-2 each. We lost the first one. But I like that ground as well.
I mean, it's a great crack up the northeast anyway. And I mean, like Roker Park, I never forget the first time I went there. Again, on about returning heroes, Jim Montgomery was in goal for us. Now, some of them were scrapping, they're fighting for their lives to try and stay in the first division. We've gone down there towards the end of the season, nothing to play for us, sort of thing. And the standing ovation and that Montgomery got was absolutely brilliant. And of course, then he's stopping everything that's getting thrown at him and whatever. They're still not flipping turned on him. They stayed with as it was. They scored in the last 10 minutes. You know what Blues are like, don't you? And Sunderland managed to win 1-0. But
he's a great keeper, Montgomery, wasn't he?
Oh, I loved him. But I mean, as an atmosphere, I'd have to say that Roker Park that day was as good, if not the best away ground I've known for an atmosphere. I mean, people go on about the flipping the cop and this, that, and the other. I mean, I actually went there when we won 3-2. We was actually 3-0 up and hit the post. We could have been 4-0 up. Liverpool were reigning European champions at the time, and Graham Souness had just signed for him. It was his home debut, and we were absolutely tore him another one, and it was just sort of like it was silent. You couldn't hear a word off him. But then they pulled one back, and they suddenly that crowd got behind them, and I mean, yeah. Then they got to 3-2, and then the man himself, Jim Montgomery, pulled off this absolutely worldy, and I mean a worldy save, and we ended up beating them 3-2. That was a bit special, but only when they were chasing the game.
I'd have to say, like, one of the most hostile atmospheres I've ever been at a football game. I was a part of the hostile crowd, and that was that night when we played Villa, when we returned to our first season in the Premier League. That night was something else, wasn't it?
That was your archetypal cauldron, wasn't it?
For a lot of different reasons, some of them good, some of them bad, But within the ground, I think if you're a Villa player, that was real hostility, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you got Robbie Savage. By the way, I'll tell you this now, right, Pete, because no one's listening.
Yeah.
Next week, I hope, I'm going to be having a chat on a podcast with Mark Halsey. Do you know who that is?
Yes, yeah.
He was the ref in that game at Villa Park when he sent off Dion Dublin for putting a nut on Robbie.
Yeah.
So me and Mark are going to be having a chat. And I think Beck's joining us. And we're going to be talking about some of his experiences, but we're going to be talking about that sending off. So that'll be good, that will, won't it?
I've heard a few things that he's done. He's him and that Jeff Winter as well. He's sort of like gone on to that sort of like circuit, this talking circuit, and I mean it's nice that they're actually got the balls to front things up.
But to be fair, Mark's a friend of mine, so I haven't got him through an agent or something. I know him, but he does do a lot of this stuff. And I was talking to his wife, Michelle, the other day, and she was saying he'd just done something. He'd been to London to do one, and they've got this top American female referee who thinks she's the God's gift to referees. She knows it all. And they were showing the penalty, I think, Spurs against Chelsea or something last week.
Yeah.
And she was saying, yes, this is definitely like Mark Turer and you one, he said, listen, back, you know what I mean? But he's a nice bloke, and that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I should look forward to it. As I do all your podcasts, mate, they're really entertaining.
Well, we try and vary them as well. We've got one tomorrow that we're doing, which will be on later in the week, which is about male prostate cancer and female breast cancer. And we've got someone that's gone through both of those things. And we just talk about the importance of checking prostates and breasts, so some fun ones and some not such. Pardon?
Is Pete coming to do a talk with you on this podcast?
Pete isn't actually. What he was going to, but he couldn't make it. So what Pete's done is he sent me an email with his story on it. So I'm going to be relating to Pete's story as well, while we're on there, because he's a lad, Pete, isn't he?
Oh, I mean, it's a sad part of life, but I mean, people our age, I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who hasn't lost a dear friend.
Yeah, that's right.
Or has actually been through it themselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of my dearest mates, I've got to give him a shout out, is Bob Teagley. He won Blues Supporter of the Year. He never went to China, and just literally every single, never missed games and whatever. And Bob ended up with it, bless him. And
Pete's lucky to be alive, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to catch it when obviously as early as you can.
Yeah.
So with the podcast, we try and do some serious stuff. So I mean, we've done a couple of serious ones, haven't we, Pete?
Yeah.
What's your t-shirt, mate? What's your sweatshirt? What is that sweatshirt?
Right. That is. Oh, it's got chocolate down it. Yeah, it's Justice for the 21.
It's the right colour.
Just in case people might not know. Yeah.
Yeah. So Justice for the 21, you know, we do. You and I are both involved in doing that stuff, you know, which is really, really important. Like we were saying earlier, when it, you know, about the club's ours, you know.
Yeah.
The city's ours.
I'm sure we'll be doing more things further down the line with Julie as well.
We definitely will be, you know, and we've got some things planned at the moment, haven't we, that moving forward, that hopefully we're going to get the recognition for those people that they deserve. But it's been an absolute crack, mate, having a little catch up with you. But you know what? We've hardly scratched the surface, so we've got to do another one and talk about some other stuff.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away. I'm going to go and draw these goal stanchions.
I want to see them.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them on the group.
Yeah, brilliant. I shall go and borrow my kids' flipping colouring sets. Yeah. Okay, Steve. Lovely to speak with you, mate.
It's nice to see you, mate. And everyone that's watched, thanks. You see this guy here, an absolute hero, seriously. Justice for the 21. This bloke gives you everything, you know. Everyone should have respect for Pete. Proper Blues fan, proper Birmingham person. That's the thing, isn't it, Pete?
Well, that's it, yeah, but probably the world's worst steward.
Well, I think so, really, mate. You know, when them girls got up and danced out of the disabled section, I'm surprised they weren't arrested, really.
I know. Awful. All right, then, you take care then, mate.
Fantastic seeing you, Pete. Thanks, mate. See you later.
Bye. Then, mate.
Bye.
Ben, won't turn off. That's it.